Okay, this is the code for Chef Robo. So one thing to mention is this code changed significantly in the last day of the project because that's when I switched from going with a very DC motor plus time of flight sensor combination into a stepper motor combination for my primary motors. So some of the code on here is arguably obsolete because it didn't really matter in the end. So anyway, we got an Arduino here. I'm not going to waste my time going through every line. Lots of things to set up. And then just to mention that some of the stuff at the beginning with the X shuts, this is just to initialize the time of flight sensors that we're using the I2C protocol. So I assign them addresses, shut one off at a time, told it's the address, yada, yada, yada. An important thing as well is I've done quite a lot of code in here that allowed me to give my robot commands. So while I was testing it, I didn't need to like run a sequence. I could instead type in a number of commands. So one of these functions here, it's this one here, it's able to kind of, I'll tell it a command and then it will do that task. And each of these is like a function that does that. So most important thing, and this is probably what I'm going to spend most time in this video, explaining the full sequence. So this is the series of actions that my robot had to take in order to assemble a chicken burger. So it needs to scoop at position. So this is as this suggests. So it goes over and it scoops an ingredient at this position. So these are X, Y coordinates. And then drop off. And then that's just a Y coordinate because there's only one drop off spot, but there's multiple pickups. So that's why we need an X coordinate for the scoop at, but drop off just Y. And then I set the height, just to make sure it's out of the way. Then I tell it to scoop at this position. Then I tell it to drop it off slightly higher, and that's to account for the addition of the ingredient that's already placed on the drop-off platform. Then I tell it to set height, and then I tell it to set distance, set height, and then after kind of doing this sequence here, that has assembled one chicken burger, and then I tell the conveyor belt to move forward, and then I repeat the same actions again. And this kind of allowed me to assemble 2 chicken burgers with these 2 repeating series of actions. It's kind of all there really is to talk about. There's a little bit of nitty gritty going on, right? Like this is the drop off code. So, we set the distance over the drop off site. We set the height, which is the input of the function. We set the distance again, go a little further out. We have a little delay. We open the slider to drop off the ingredient. We move up, we close it, right? Just kind of some procedural stuff. Same with this scoop at position. We have got an adjustment factor. We have an X position, Y position. Pretty simple stuff. And then these are kind of the nitty gritty of the actual motor code. So like we have a number of steps. We send pulses to our stepper board, depending on how many steps we have left. Super simple stuff. And that's the same code that works for both the horizontal and vertical motors in the final version. And then we have the slide close, slide open. So this is like the opening and closing. This still uses a DC motor, so I kind of use the more typical high-low, and then I have a delay, and then I go low-low, turn them off, and then so the enable and disable, that is a little bit legacy because that is referring to, if you watched my initial electronic design it was using MOSFETs to create, I guess, an additional gate for the current. So this would enable and disable that gate. But that's now legacy, I suppose. So this is actually a little bit outdated. Yeah, that's the full code. So that's all you need to see if you want to copy my robot.